All right, you ready? 1, 2.
3. Oh, I'm going with the next one. Okay. Death Clock played the first show in 5 years, which is huge for me.
I didn't even start the show yet.
What are we doing?
I didn't even start the show yet.
What the hell? I thought we already did the intro.
He's got to be frozen like that. Grow up, the both of you.
I will not.
Oh, speaking of Metalocalypse,
for it is time to smoke.
Speaking of Metalocalypse,
and we shall
That's
smoke.
in the news today.
And we shoot the bird as we smoke.
Show happened.
Because you can't control me. I'm doing this as hard as I can, and it is an unbearable strain on my wrist.
I bet it's the same size as the one in your pants, too.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm tired.
Ow.
Yeah. I might be off with the jokes today. I'm a little tired.
Funny thing I heard at work today was suck on this and sit on this.
Nice. I like that.
And with that, welcome to Album versus Album.
Oh, that's what we're doing first. That's right.
Yeah, that's what we're doing first. What's going on?
Yep.
Pals, what's going on, dudes?
Not much.
Not
this
too
one took
much.
Some debate, some changes. But I think all in all, I think overall this album versus album worked better with the new 2 albums we picked.
Yeah. Well,
or
you
picked, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. These are your picks this week.
Yeah.
These are my picks this week.
Yeah, the new guy gets the picks.
That's right.
So what did you pick this week, new guy?
I picked Eyes of the Night by Stryker versus... Let me remember the Enforcer album here.
From Beyond.
From Beyond. That's it. From Beyond. It was coming to me. From Beyond by Enforcer.
Beyond. No, it's not Madness.
You shut your Helen Damon mouth.
One step beyond. All right. Anyway, give us
Beyond what?
I don't know. You don't like that song?
I have no idea what you're talking about now.
Madness. The band Madness.
What, the British New Wave band?
Yeah.
I don't know. They got that song about the house.
Man, I just lagged through all of that, and I have no clue what you just said.
Oh, we were talking about Madness.
There we go.
You're frozen, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, do you have any backstory on both of these bands?
Well, I've seen both bands one-up Warbringer live, actually.
Okay.
And only because the lead singer of both of these bands are... I love Warbringer, but man, seeing a band like this... You don't see a band like these very often live.
Right.
Especially vocally, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start off with...
This is a new thing now. These bands, everybody wants to sound retro, so...
Right.
This is like the...
And I'm
well,
very
it's been going on about 10 years now. I mean, Enforcers definitely put their time in, and so is Stryker.
About 20 with thrash now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems to be picking up a lot more. A lot more bands are catching on and starting to do it.
There's also what I've noticed is what I think is an interesting trend with it. A lot of these guys, I notice now that they've been around for a while, are starting to play up their glam elements more, which is kind of interesting because that's what happened in the 80s and everybody hated it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's just to get more catchiness out of choruses, to be honest. I think that's really the only reason, because the riff-wise sound of it, it's not really changing. The speed sound of it, I haven't really noticed a change yet.
Have you heard Enforcer's newest album?
I have. I didn't get too much glam off of it. I don't know. Maybe
well,
I need to re-listen.
I mean, it's definitely different. But anyway, we're not talking about that one right now.
Maybe fucking with me right now, because they still perform live and they just look exactly like Exciter or a band like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or Metal Church would be the apt comparison for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Enforcer from Beyond, absolutely fantastic album. Destroyer is my favorite Enforcer song. It's an absolute ripper of an opening track.
Really?
Yeah.
I
was
agree.
a big fan of it. All the fast shit on this album is great, and even the slow shit.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the title track, the chorus repeat on the title track goes on a little long, but other than that, I really didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. The vocals on Undying Evil nearly blew my ears out. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's an awesome song.
It's funny, I hear a tad bit of Blackie in his vocals.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds a little bit like Blackie Lawless.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know who he actually really reminds me of in his phrasing and everything and just the sound of his voice? John Gallagher from Raven.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan
Yeah,
of
I mean,
Raven.
think about Olaf singing Crash Bang Wallop, though. It would fit perfectly.
Oh, yeah. God, I've seen Raven live. I mean, live Raven are a little more like Stryker. I mean, always in the leather like that. But, man, yeah, he does sound a little bit like John Gallagher. I was thinking mostly Metal Church, though, overall in sound.
Yes, I was going to say that, too.
Like kind of proto-thrash almost there.
Well, that and Abattoir really they sound a lot like.
I forget Abattoir exists, though, is the problem. Yeah.
I got those albums when I was real young, so I grew up with them, so they're always front of mind for me, and they really should be, but they're kind of obscure because they weren't around very long.
I mean, obviously, they got some influence from Agent Steel, too. I mean, look at the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very big Agent Steel.
There's all kinds of shit in there.
Oh, yeah. It's a great logo, though. I mean, that's why I'm repping it right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this one of your newer favorite bands, Nate?
Yeah, it's a newer one, because I only discovered them when I saw that they were going on tour with Warbringer. I'd heard good things, but I didn't really know them or what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, from looking at the logo, you can kind of guess that they play what they play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of gives it away a little bit.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Greg?
I don't remember.
I'm glad I asked. But let's see. I like this album because there's a lot of catchy songs on this one. And the music's very catchy. There's a lot of different styles on it. You know, it's not all just fast songs. There's like some slow songs like you mentioned earlier. You can differentiate, what song is what. And like I said before, the vocalist sounds kind of like Wasp a little bit. I really like the song From Beyond. The Banshee's pretty cool. And Mask of the Red Death, the last song.
That was cool, too.
It's a very cool song. It's got a lot of stuff going on in that one. It's a very good ender for the album.
Yeah, I agree. My 3 picks would be Destroyer, Undying Evil, and Hell Will Follow.
Nice.
But there really isn't a bad pick off of this album.
Right. There's not really a bad song off of this one at all. I'm not too crazy about the opener. I think it's a little too, I don't know.
You need to see them live. They come out of like the fog like that, and then the lights go on, and then it's like exactly in the music video. If you've seen it.
Nice.
It's awesome. They perform just like an arena band would, but on a club level.
Yeah.
Below the Slumber and Hungry They Will Come drag a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're not bad songs. It's nothing that makes you want to turn it off. They're just a little boring compared to the rest of the record. But Destroyer, Undying Evil, and Mask of Red Death would be the 3 I would pick. But I also love the Banshee. I think that's one of their best songs.
Oh, that was great too.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
Yeah. So is Hell Will Follow, actually. That's a great song too.
Yeah,
and then my version is the Japanese one, and it actually has a few bonus tracks on it.
Oh, cool.
One of which is, I think all 3 of them are covers. Yeah. Bursting Out, which is a Venom cover and is awesome. And they do I Turn Into a Martian by the Misfits, which is also great. And Mean Machine by Motorhead.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those are all very different vocal styles from the singer.
Yeah,
he's all,
oh, yeah! And then you have Venom and Motorhead. And I mean, even Danzig era Misfits, pretty tenor to lower range.
Mm-hmm. He does it his own way, though.
Interesting. I haven't heard those yet. I'll have to check those out.
Yeah,
But,
send them to us. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, well, this is probably my second favorite Exciter album. I mean, Enforcer.
I know, right? It's hard not to say Exciter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I always loved speed metal, and I loved Enforcer from the first time I heard him.
Yeah, the first one I heard was a new one. And because I think we were actually going to do the new one a couple months back on one of the shows, and then I don't know, I wasn't too crazy about it. So I'm glad we picked this one because this one kind of makes me more interested in the band again.
Reminds me a lot of The Dark by Metal Church, just that album in particular, because it's got a couple of the longer songs on it that aren't as speed focused. Yeah. The Dark, and
like I said, a lot for me though. Just The Only Safe Place by Abattoir. And even Vicious Attack, too.
That's the really red one, right?
Vicious Attack is the red one, with the guy with the hook and the chick on the cover. The Only Safe Place is like a door with somebody walking a kid through it by the hand.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I saw both of them at your place. I had only seen the red one before, but yeah.
Very cool.
So our next album is Eyes in the Night by Stryker, which is also a fantastic album. And they're less Metal Church and more Riot, in my opinion. More power metal-y.
I wrote the same thing down.
Yeah. They've got less of that proto-thrash and more of that proto-power metal kind of sound. Like, not quite power metal, I would say, outside of the White Knight.
Yeah, it's like borderline thrash power metal type thing. It's different.
Sabotage, that sort of thing.
Well, I don't hear Sabotage. Not Sabotage. I hear more
you're not
Riot.
Quite Sabotage.
No.
Definitely
Sabotage
Riot.
is too slow. Definitely Riot. I definitely hear Riot, yeah. A lot of fast stuff on this one. Yeah, definitely has that old school, even like the other, let me see here, sure, Enforcer, because I was almost going to say Exciter. Another band, just actually, because last week we did the new wave of traditional metal bands, and now this week's the same thing. So we got like a theme
continuing
here.
the trend. This is a good this is a good movement that kind of encapsulates all three of our tastes.
Yeah, because there's like you said, this one's got some power metal things in it, and there's thrash stuff in there, and it's got that old school stuff, and and it's has a newer production sound to it as opposed to Enforcer. It has the kind of like that old 80s sound to it, which is cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
What I like about the newer production on some of this though is that you can actually hear all the instruments.
Right.
Like you listen to like Heavy Metal Maniac and like a lot of the older, more obscure heavy metal albums, and you don't hear very much on there. Older Raven albums are like that sometimes too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Raven, watching this band perform is exactly like Raven, because from what I recall, the show back in November, Raven did not take their leather off for very much of the show. But Stryker did not take it off at all in early September under the lights. Yeah, they were dripping sweat. Did not take off the leather. I was wholly impressed. And that guy can hit all those notes live, too. They're unbelievably tight.
Well, we'll see how long he can keep his voice like that.
Hopefully for a while. Because I want to hear more from this band.
Yeah.
So my three picks would be Full Speed or No Speed. I'd say Terrorizer, and We Don't Play by the Rules.
That's right. We don't play by the rules. We're at review. Oh, that's one song.
Right. I don't know. It reminded me a lot. His voice actually reminds me a lot of Steve Grimmett from Grim Reaper. How he's got that raspy high tone.
Yeah, I was trying to think of somebody.
We Don't Play by the Rules. We Don't Play by the Rules reminded me a lot of Rock Me Till I Die lyrically.
Yeah. I can hear that. Now that you mentioned that, because I hear this band in my head and I can't think of who they sound like, but now I hear
kind of Grim Reaper, but faster, I would say.
Yeah, his vocals kind of make me think a little bit of when Sebastian Bach does, his gruff parts too. But these guys actually remind me a lot of Loudness.
Yes. Yeah, that too.
Them, so.
Yeah.
How they have.
I mean, it really sounds like Hurricane Eyes, Lightning Strikes era.
Yeah,
a little bit of Dokken in there
more
too.
Loudness
They got
than I do though. So
little bit of Dokken in there too. They got a pretty interesting sound, but I didn't like this one as much as I like Enforcer. I mean, it's still a good record, but
neither did I. But man, it's awesome.
I really only like the first 4 songs a lot. I love them. The record starts off great, then it kind of dies until it hits Terrorizer.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have as many catchy songs or as many
it's
things
not
that are
big on the
memorable.
verse. Yeah.
Not quite, but
it's got more of a power medley feel to it. And
right.
I like Enforcer's guitar sound much more.
Yeah, me too. Although I'd say the highs are about equal between the albums. Like Full Speed or No Speed and Destroyer just as being ripping opening tracks, I'd put them as equals.
Yeah.
Like the highs I'd put as equal, but the lows for Striker are a little lower.
Right, yeah. I'd say the same thing too. I think we all pretty much agree on this one.
I'd kill for a tour between the two of them. I don't know if they have, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, they would work. This band's from Canada, right? And the other one's from
Sweden.
Yeah, Enforcer's from Sweden, yeah.
I like
the Cold Barren Wasteland tour.
Yeah, I like the opening track and Terrorizer. Those are my 2 favorite ones. I couldn't really pick any other ones because, like I said, a lot of stuff sounds too much the same. But
I always liked songs that are, campy teenage rebellion songs. Like We're Not Gonna Take It. That's why We Don't Play by the Rules appealed to me.
Yeah.
It got to my inner 15-year-old there.
Which was only a few years ago.
Right.
Hey, they're good as long as they're done right.
You could have blown your lungs out.
Yeah. Who cares?
You could have blown your lungs out.
But there were some real awful examples of anthem songs in the 80s. Like, We're Not Gonna Take It was great, but then on the other side of that, you have bullshit like Parental Guidance by Judas Priest, which is just awful.
I remember liking that one when we did the show. I like that song. But anyway.
But then you have Youth Gone Wild, which
of
Youth Gone
stepping
Wild
in
is
dog
awesome.
shit.
Right.
No, of course. Yeah, it's corny.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Right.
All right. So, what are we
for a John Hughes movie?
What are we giving it?
Very true. I'd give it a 9.
9. Wow.
We're talking Enforcer for the first rating here. Yeah, I would give it. Yeah, for what they do, a 9.
9. Wow. Nice. I'll give it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good album. I'm gonna have to. I'll actually buy this CD. I believe.
Okay.
You should get this one in diamonds. Definitely.
I'm gonna
get a lot of their shirts. A lot of those shirts have naked ladies on them.
Really? My wife will hate that. I have one shirt with
That's
naked.
Another reason to buy it.
That one. I have a Celtic Frost shirt with naked women on. She don't like it.
I saw a
Emperor's
Celtic Frost
Return.
Morbid Tales shirt with the Hellhammer logo on it in Fargo, which I've always wanted because I've always thought Celtic Frost was a really stupid name.
Why?
For a band that was called Hellhammer before that, like, come on.
No, I like
Hellhammer's a way better name.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Celtic Frost is more lasting. Hellhammer's kind of cliche and pigeonholes them. I can understand why Warrior did it because he wanted to branch out. It makes sense.
Right, but the music they still make would make sense under the name Hellhammer.
I just don't think it would have the same longevity.
I mean, I see what you're talking about, but I gotta agree to disagree there.
Yeah. Well, that's a different show.
Because Tom was going to do what he was going to do anyway, and if they'd have put Into the Pandemonium out under their Hellhammer name, wouldn't have worked.
Right.
You're right about that, yeah.
Striker. What are we giving Striker?
7, 8, 8.25.
8.25. That much, huh? Wow. What about you, Greg?
Shitload better than that last Ram album.
I give it a 7.
A 7. I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
Next time around, I'll pick the new Ram
better
album.
than the
That'll be a
last
while.
Ram
I
album.
know.
And
stop it.
Also, these are actually what I would call new wave of traditional heavy metal. Ram, I don't care what you guys say, is not.
Well, look online. Look under that new wave of traditional heavy metal thing, and then you will find Ram. They are there. So go blow it up.
Miscategorized and terrible.
No. If anybody,
just that album.
Yeah, Greg doesn't get it. If anybody didn't watch that episode, go watch last week's episode, Ram versus.
Yeah, now you have a reason to watch last week's episode.
Yeah, that's right.
What was the other before?
Ram versus Attic. But this show was Striker versus
Enforcer.
I have to keep looking at his shirt to remember. I don't know why I can't remember that name.
I know, it's a good band name.
So easy too.
I know. But, yeah, go check out both of the names. Yeah, go check out both of the albums. They got actually a couple albums out, right? They got Striker's got like what 5 or 4 albums.
Yeah, both of these guys have been around for about a
Striker's got like 5 out. Enforcer has 7.
Yeah. So go check them out because they're really cool bands. And that's all I got to say about that. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, but yeah, everybody should definitely check them out. Striker's newest one is pretty good. Enforcer, just about all their albums are great. Can't go wrong. They are one of my favorites. I like this whole new scene.
I'm with you there.
All right. Well, I guess that sums up this episode for this week. Until then.
Later. And stuff.
It's giving them one wave. It's mysterious. I gotta keep up my mystique. Well, now it's 2 waves, but you know.
We'll catch you guys on the other side. Wherever side that might be. Adios.
The dark side of the ham.
Spoiler, it's in hell. We're all terrible people.
What? I'm not terrible. Am I terrible? I'm not going to hell.
Well, you are from New York.
What? What's that?
I mean, that's kind of like a prerequisite.
I hate you.
It's in the fine print on your birth certificate.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. See you guys later.